What's happening, everybody? Welcome back. This is Forgo, and I know. Another Immortal Dungeon video. I know, guys, I know. But I was sitting there playing around in the live stream last night, and I was using a certain team, and I was just freaking floored with how good this team did. And I gotta show it off to you guys. I gotta show you this because these are really some of my favorite characters in the KOF franchise, and it's freaking amazing to be able to see this guy you're looking at right here, this guy right here, and this guy right here absolutely murder Immortal Mose all by their lonesome. This is actually an insane freaking team for them. And the beautiful thing about this team is you only need one of these BS characters. The other beautiful thing about this team is I'm not going to use any special cards except for the 3PG for Nightmare Geese. That's the only card that you really need. You need two of them, one for Nightmare Geese and then one for Geese 14. And you will be set, my friends. You will be set. So let's take a look at the build here and explain why they're going to be so good. So the first thing is that they're all attack type fighters. And so they're all going to benefit from Nightmare Geese's leadership, giving them that 20% PG rate and that 45% extra all attack, right? Well, the cool thing about this is, one, Orochi Iori is a yellow type. He's an attack type, and he has 30% PG rate in his core. So he's going to have 50% PG rate at all times. The other beautiful thing is, like I explained in the last video, is that this boss gets stunned whenever you do dot explosion. Well, guess what? Old Geese 14 here has dot explosion, right? So he actually, whenever he does dot damage to Immortal Mose, it will stun him, actually increasing survivability for Iori and really for all the characters on the team. And because you can use that 3PG card on Geese 14, and the fact that he has 15% power charge rate in his core, and he's getting 20% power charge rate from Nightmare Geese's leadership, that's giving him a 35% increase to power charge rate. And actually, it's enough. And check this out. I have one imprint stone on him, guys. One imprint stone. He does have max capsules, but he has one imprint stone. I didn't even put any other stones on him, which is nuts. And we're running with the Akane set. No special option cards, nothing else. These cards are always available in the game except for these 3PGs. And if you have two of these 3PGs and you have Nightmare Geese, this team is absolutely devastating to Immortal Mose. It is crazy how good they are, my friends. It is crazy. And the cool thing is, this card actually gives increased critical rate by 10% for 10 seconds when Rashomon EX finishes hitting, right? Well, the cool thing about that for Geese here is as long as his explosion isn't on cooldown, upon landing a critical hit, deal shock damage equal to 3 times the remaining shock damage, which means if this cooldown is finished, this 15-second cooldown is finished, and he gets that extra critical rate from the 3PG card, the chances of him doing an explosion again are very, very high because you just increased his critical rate by 10%. Freaking insane. And it's made this version of Geese so much better, guys. Having that 3PG has made him so much better, as you will all see. It's absolutely insane how well he can do. He also has the shock damage, of course, right? So you want to apply shock damage on your first team. You want to have dot explosion. But the cool thing is you also have this version of Geese that has shock damage. I don't even have quite max capsules on him, but look at his card set. Again, the Akane set on the sky. No special cards, nothing. I mean, if you have two of these 3PGs, just two of these 3PGs, if you're able to get two of these babies and you have Nightmare Geese, you're freaking loving life for this thing. You are loving life. There are a multitude of teams that you can use for a lot of these Immortal Dungeons, right? There's a lot of them. You know, I'm not saying this is the best team, but the fact that this team can actually solo this boss, even with time to spare, you don't even have to switch to your next team, is bonkers. And Iori here does have max capsule. Now, he does have a really good build. We do have double attack stones. These two stones here I actually got from Guild Raid. This stone here I actually did get from the KOF pass, but you could get this second stone from guild raid. But even if you put HP stones on him and you don't have these double attacks, it still would be insane. All you would need is just a nice little second team, maybe just add on a little bit extra damage to make sure you get the 500 million. And look, Akane set, guys. I'm just running the Akanes. And I tell you all the time, the Akanes just really are some damage dealing monsters. And then we are using his 3 PG. And of course, he has that 30% PG rate in his core, which is insane. Now, somebody was asking me about a different team using Xion in the leadership, BS Chrysalid, and Meliodas on the first team. And then on the second team, using Nightmare Geese, Lady Yeshir on Guinness. And I can tell you, yeah, that team got 500 million on my account with about 30 seconds to spare. So if you want to try that, you can definitely do that. I mean, you know, like I said, the 7 Deadly Sins characters are freaking nuts for this. And Eileen, there's a lot of characters that are crazy for this. But I wanted to make this video to really just show love to Geese, because Geese 14 really doesn't get crap for love anymore at all. He's pretty much been forgotten about. I mean, when he first showed up in the game, he was a meta, and he's just dropped down the ranks something fierce. But having that 3 PG card on him has actually made him a whole lot better. So I've already pre-recorded a run. So let's jump into the action and let's rock and roll. So I was actually shocked last night, no pun intended, that this team could actually do this on their own. And by the way, I also tried this team and took out Iori and put in BS Chrysalid. And yeah, you could get the 500 million with the first team using BS Chrysalid, even though Chrysalid won't benefit from Geese's leadership. Because Chrysalid still has 30% PG rate and he builds up his PG rate super fast because you can cancel his skills really quickly, it actually works, and he's a yellow type. It's just Iori actually benefits, and Iori and Geese 14 are always in the game. So this might be more free-to-play friendly for some of you out there, which is one of the reasons I wanted to show it, and also just show some love to these characters. And you're going to notice, guys, that all you're going to see is 3PG after 3PG after default after 3PG again and again and again. They stall the timer in, look at this. It's just over and over, and I am playing on manual. Look at it. Now Geese, right? By the way, a little trick with Nightmare Geese, and I don't really do this a lot whenever I'm playing with them, and I should. You should actually use your first and your third skill first, because your second skill actually has a chance of resetting your blast skills, which are your first and your third, and that would actually enable you to build up your PG a little bit faster. A lot of times I always start with the second skill. It's just a force of habit. I start off with that hyper armor skill, but really for Nightmare Geese, if you do the second skill and then the third skill and then go into the, or start with the first skill and go into the third skill and then go into the second skill, you have a chance of resetting the first and third, and that's going to actually help you build up your PG. I mean, look at this. So Geese is already ready. Iori's ready. So now the objective here is your yellow fighters. So whether I was playing with BS Chrysalid or whether I'm playing with Iori, you want to be spamming your yellow fighters or your strongest built character. So if this was BS Chrysalid, I'd be spamming Chrysalid. That way we can do as much damage as possible, because these yellow fighters do have the type advantage. Freaking nuts. Oh, and Geese, I do have a recovery stone on him. It does offer an extra 5% attack and 5% HP, but that recovery is actually quite nice for him because he still does lack super armor. He has a 15-second cooldown on his super armor skill, or I'm sorry, a 13-second cooldown. Whenever you do a blast skill, you get super armor for 3 seconds, and it's on a 13-second cooldown. So sometimes he doesn't have his super armor up, which is kind of one of the reasons why he works so good here, because you can actually stun Immortal Mose, and because of that, Immortal Mose is just sitting there, and he's not attacking, he's not interrupting your skills. So Geese actually is freaking amazing for this. Just crazy, crazy. I mean, double Geese, right? It's awesome. Look at him go, guys. Look at him go. I mean, it's just over and over. And the coolest thing is, you get to see Geese 14 with his 3 PG. Look how freaking awesome he looks. Vicious. You even see his eyes glowing a little bit. Freaking cool. Oh, I love it. I'm not gonna lie, Nightmare Geese looks a little cooler. I mean, it's Nightmare Geese, right? He's the undead. But still. Now, you can see Iori is taking some damage, which is why I told you guys, like, if you put HP stones on this guy, if you decide to go with this team, and you put HP stones that you're actually getting from the Immortal Dungeons on Iori, you'll be fine. You're not going to do quite as much damage, but still going to be really good damage. This is something that I've tested in the past, And yeah, the double attack does better, but the HP stones still do really well. And having that extra HP does help as far as your survivability. That's something you should always keep in mind. And guys, we got 10 seconds left, and they hit 440 million. Look at that. That is just bonkers. We're applying that shock damage. We're applying the dot explosion from Geese 14. Just crazy. All of them are benefiting from Nightmare Geese's leadership, and Iori really is taking a lot of damage. I mean, you could always put a recovery stone on Iori if you're having trouble keeping him alive, but I think honestly, if you had him fully maxed out like mine, and you had HP stones on him, you'd be just fine. And you see Iori, he's got 2,800 HP. He don't have a whole lot left on going on, so I decided to go ahead and let him do his 3 PG, and it is over, my friends. It is over. Boom! 8 seconds left. One team, 500 million, guys. Geese getting it done, freaking destroying it along with our man Iori. So freaking amazing to see this kind of run. I freaking love it. And this is something I do like about the BS banners, because they did this for Rugal too. They brought in a 3PG for BS Rugal that works on 98 Omega. Well, they did the same thing for Geese. They brought in a 3PG for Nightmare Geese that works on Geese 14. And look at how much better it made this character. And I will be testing this against Immortal Rock. Immortal Rock's going to be way more difficult to keep Geese alive, but we will see. We will see, my friends, as to how well he's actually going to do. I might have to build him in a way to help his survivability, but that 3PG is just insanely long, which really helps as far as doing more damage over time. So let me know how y'all feeling about Geese getting it freaking done with the little help from our madman Iori. Let me know what characters you've gotten, what cards you've gotten. And I stream on Twitch at 9 p.m. Sunday through Thursday. The link will be in the description below. And I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. Y'all take care and have a good one.